Let's go. Here it is. And guess what? We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. This is Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin, baby. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Sometimes comedy, sometimes serious, but 100% me podcast, Riffin with Griffin. Today, I'm finally delving into it. It's time to talk about Kanye West. I don't know what's going on with this dude. Ticketmaster controversy with Taylor Swift tickets. A dude fell off a Carnival cruise ship. What would you do? And electric solar cars. I don't know. It just felt funkier today. I don't even know why. Just felt funky. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Check me out, erikgriffin.com for tour dates and whatever information, my little crazy little podcast. Thanks for coming out, y'all. Make sure you subscribe, share, hit the likes, all that stuff. Help me push the show with the different algorithms. You can support me on many different ways. You can support me on Twitch, Instagram. You could be a YouTube member. I'm on Twitch. Everything. You could be a Twitch subscriber, and you can also be a Patreon member. Which I know I say this every single week, but what I'm going to start doing next week that I'm going to carry over into 2023 is we're going to do a weekly Patreon only episode of weekly affirmations, thoughts of the week. Points of emphasis of things to, just random thoughts and ideas, just for me and my small fan base that I love so much. Okay, so check that out. And today, everybody, this episode is brought to you by DoorDash. DoorDash, for a limited time, our listeners can also enjoy a gift for themselves with 50% off up to $20 value and zero delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app and enter code Riffin. DoorDash. All right. Welcome to Riffin with Griffin, y'all. I got a poll up because that's what I'm going to be talking about a little bit today. So today's poll that's up right now, you want to check it out. If you're just listening right now for the first time, you're listening on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, thanks for coming back to the show. I appreciate you guys for the ones that listen. You're in your car, you're at work, or you're working out. Whatever it is you're doing and you just like listening to my crazy voice while you're doing that stuff, I appreciate you greatly. So please check out the podcast on there too. So I love that. But today's poll is, Kanye West. He's lost it, or he knows exactly what he's doing. Oh, I didn't do that grammatically correct, but you know what I'm talking about. I don't know which one it is. Right now, 65% people say he's lost it. And Janine, thank you so much for the super chat. You can also support the show that way by sending a super chat. You can send a tip, whatever you want. I appreciate whatever little support you give. It keeps me going. It keeps me doing the show. Even when I don't want to do it, I do it. You know what I mean? So thanks for being here with that. So that's today's poll question. Answer that poll question. What you guys think. Let's see. This week, special presentation, not special presentation, but if you're in the Austin area, this is a last minute shows. Austin area. I'm going to be there Wednesday and Thursday. I'm actually going to be there all weekend because guess what? I'm doing my first directing gig. I'm directing my buddy Matt Rife's second special in Austin. The tickets are already sold out for his special, but he might be a special guest on my Wednesday, Thursday shows in Austin. Special guest. If you can't get tickets to that, he's going to be running his new hour for his special, and so I'm honored to be directing. I've known him since he was 14. I got to get him on the podcast again. He's been on before. He's completely blown up on TikTok, guys. Like, he is like, I believe he's the #1 comic on TikTok, if you can believe that. He's got videos with 40 million views. Like, he really just is putting in the work, and it's paying off for him. So I'm really proud of him. He's like a little brother to me. I've known him since he was 14. He's like 27 now. That's how long I've known him. So love for him. So I will be doing my own shows while I'm out there at Creek in the Cave Wednesday and Thursday. I don't think they have it on the website yet, but it will be. So look out for those tickets. If you're in Austin and you want to come check me out, it's going to be Erik and Friends. I'm going to host a show, and I'm going to grab a bunch of like local comics and whoever's in town to jump on the show. So come check me out there, guys. All right. Also, I want to thank everybody that came out to Chicago, man. This past weekend, Chicago, 5 sold-out shows. Griffin, we out here doing it. The Griffin community. Erik Griffin gaming community. Riffin with Griffin community. Golden Hour. Gen to Gen. All the people that listen to me on podcasts that really want to come out and watch me do stand-up. Do my thing. I'm out here in these streets. So I got some dates coming up in 2023. Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm coming there. I'm coming to Santa Rosa to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm coming to the Louisville Comedy Club. All that's coming out in 2023. So check out my website at erikgriffin.com, and the dates are there, so check that out. So anyways, yeah, so Chicago was super fun, super cold. I'm such a LA, California kid, man. Such a California kid. I can't stand the cold. You live in a cold place and then you come live in LA. It takes you like 2 weeks and you think cold is bullshit. I mean, it just happens. You come to LA and then you live in this, and then you're like, if it's like 60 degrees in LA, it's Armageddon. All right. I'm ready to build an ark and collect animals. That's how ridiculous the weather is in other places, how we feel about weather here in California. I'm sitting over here in Chicago, and the people telling me, oh, it's going to be a beautiful day today. It's going to be 50 degrees. Oh, 50 degrees. Oh, that's going to be beautiful? Oh, okay. Let me go get my shorts and my my slippers, and let's go fire up the barbecue, because, hey, everybody, it's going to be 50 degrees in Chicago. That's why so many people I know from Chicago leave that city and come to LA. 50 degrees is nice. Get out of here, man. Makes no damn sense. I don't know how people live in cold places. Where y'all at out here in the chat? Where you guys at? Anybody else at cold weather cities? I don't know how you do it, man. The coldest place I think I've ever done comedy is Alaska. I went to Alaska one time, and it was like below something. Anytime it's below, I'm out. Okay. People, every time I go to a cold place, people always say the same thing. I go, man, it's cold, y'all. And they go, well, you should have been here last week. Okay. That would be like saying, if last week I was dating a chick, 5'3", 350 pounds. And this week I'm dating a chick, 5'3", 325 pounds. And you see her and go, damn. And I go, well, you should have seen last week. Hey, they both big. You know what I'm saying? Like, at a certain point, cold is cold. So, like, what's the temperature? What's the cutoff? Like, the cutoff is like, if it's 50 degrees or if it's below 50 degrees, it's the same thing to me. It's uninhabitable. That's how I feel about it. All right. So if you're at a cold place, more power to you, but it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy. But I got a lot of stuff coming out. 2023 stuff is being added all the time. So I appreciate you guys. Come on out. Watch me do stand-up. I love doing stand-up. I love doing the podcasting. I realize, again, I should have put my disclaimer, which I haven't done. I didn't do already. But just like, A lot of people ask sometimes, they listen to this podcast and they go, man, I thought this was a comedy podcast. I thought this was a comedian. I realize my outlet for doing my comedy is the stage. So I highly recommend you come watch me do stand-up because I am a monster on stage. I'm going to toot my own horn. I'm funny, okay? So come watch me do stand-up. I'm really expressive and I love doing stand-up. It's my first love. If you want to see me be funny with other people, I love interacting. That's the other podcast, The Golden Hour with Brendan and Chris, or Gen to Gen with Matthew Espinosa. We have a great interaction. But on this podcast, these are my thoughts. I like talking about things. This helps me come up actually with material, because when you intellectualize stuff and you think about things in a certain way, I have a certain thought process I like to go through, and I like sharing it like this on my podcast to get my thoughts out, and then it helps me think about things that I would be able to come up with jokes and things to talk about on stage. So that's what this podcast is. So if you're looking for some silliness, there's other podcasts for that. This one is, you're going to be inside the mind of who? Me, Erik Griffin. So let's get right to it today. I'm not even going to mess around and make you guys wait. Let's just get to the craziness that is Mr. Kanye West. Where is it? How come it's not going live? I don't know why. Wait, let me see something. See, this is what happens when you do a podcast by yourself. There it is. Boom. There he is. There he is, y'all. Look at that look on his face. All right, everybody. I have held off wanting to talk about Kanye West because I just felt like this is what he wants anyway. I've talked about it a little bit one time, but I just really want to get into it now because of what's been going on recently. The guy, he all over the place, man. I mean, even if you go back to when Katrina was going on and he was like, George Bush doesn't like black people. Remember that? Remember that guy? Like, even then you were kind of like, whoa, dude, is this the time and place for what was happening? And that's really what what brings my mind to right now. It's like time and place. Just because you're making a point about something doesn't mean that point needs to be made at a particular time. You know what I'm saying? There is such a thing as time and place, Like, you could need to have an important discussion, but should it be at, say, a public place? Let's say you and your lady or you and your significant other are about to have a serious argument about something, but your kid is in the room. Maybe this is an important argument, but should it be in front of this kid? That's the kind of things I think about when I think of Kanye West. It's like a parallel to that about the things, because ever since that George Bush hates black people, he's just been all over the place. There's like a timeline on this website, August Man, of just everything that has paved a way, to this guy's, I don't want to say downfall, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. Like, part of me is like, is he lost it? Is he something mentally wrong with Kanye West? Right? Or does he know exactly what he's doing? And which one is scarier? You know what I mean? Which one's scarier to you? I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it scary that here's a guy with a fortune, that he has got kids and he's just out here saying stuff and causing a lot of uproar unnecessarily, and he needs some help, like somebody needs to step in? That's pretty sad. Or is it sad that no, this is all calculated, that he believes all this stuff, or he thinks he's some master manipulator that it's going to turn into something great? I don't know. But I had to step in for me to talk about it publicly, because what I do a podcast, and like I said earlier, I like talking about stuff. I had to step in about talk about this stuff. Like, you listen, I don't know why he said this stuff he said, this anti-Semitic stuff that he said, I don't know why he said all that, but he since had come out and sort of apologized for that And then, he likes to talk about love. He's like, God is love and love is God. And on the Instagram all the time, it's like, we here for it. Love your brother. Love. He does all this on one side of his face. And then on the other side of his face, he does and says things completely like, I don't get it. So listen, this is what I'm saying. So he already has this tone of like anti-Semitic behavior, right? It's given that feel. And who are we to say how a group feels about something that's being said? Whether you agree with it or not, if a people say, whoa, that's offensive to me, that's hurting my feelings, I think we have to step up and be like, oh, okay. Because listen, I deal with this as a comic all the time. As a comic, you deal with this, But in the framework of what comedy is, you go, all right, we don't mean harm. Maybe some comics do. But I'm only going to speak for me. I talk about everybody. Nobody gets... I'm equal opportunist about this. So like, you can't say to me, oh, well, you hate this, you hate D, that's why you're doing that. No. I can just find silliness and funniness and things I can point out, I could criticize or I can praise about everybody. I think everybody deserves it. My feeling of it is, if everybody should be, you want to treat everybody equally, then let's do that in comedy. That's what I do personally. But I understand when people are like, hey man, that joke you said, it hurt this person's feelings or that. I get that. It's part of the game. But just understand the intent. So I think that with a comic, you can understand the intent is this was for humor. Maybe it didn't hit the mark, but you could still understand the intent of it, right? I don't know what Kanye West's intent is. This is what I'm thinking about with this. So anyways, he has this sort of like really like, he says this stuff about the Jews, man. Like he really goes in, Nobody likes it. You know what I mean? Adidas drops him. Like all this stuff happens because of his comments. I don't know what the purpose of that was. Does he really mean that? Does he believe the things as he was saying? That I'm going after, just the way he said it, it was so like, man, unnecessarily sort of hateful, sort of like, it's like, why go after a whole group of people who there aren't as many Jews in the world anymore as you think. And it's actually frightening, and these people have already gone through something so terrible in history, recent history, if you think about it. And like, there's more Jews in Brooklyn, I believe, than there are in Israel. Like, that's how little in terms of the world population there are. So this vitriol and hate that goes towards these people, I don't understand it. It's more personal to me now. My wife is Jewish. Her family is Jewish. I love these people. They didn't do anything bad to Kanye West. So it's like, if you have a problem with individuals, point out the individuals. But to point out as the race and religion of individuals as the reason why that's the total thing you look at, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like, you could just point out, hey, this person did this person did that, I mean, there's not that many. Anyways, yeah, I'm trying to not to, I'm doing this live, so this is like, you know what I mean, guys? I'm live, but I don't mind. I don't mind talking off how I talk. So he says all this stuff, and then I don't think he realized the backlash that was going to happen. And then you see, like, on this website, they go, they're going down the timeline, JP Morgan. I think the JP Morgan thing was happening anyway. The Drink Champs removes the podcast. Balenciaga and Karen pull the plug. CAA drops him. MRC shows completed documentary. Adidas takes a huge loss. Apparently they lost like between $250 and $500 million to cut ties with him. That's the money that they lost. Athletes left Donda Sports. Okay. I didn't even know he had a sports thing like that. It's just Gap removing anything that has to do with him. Skechers removes from the corporate office. I mean, there's so many things in the timeline that happen. Okay. All that happens, right? And then the thing that I just don't get is why he goes on this podcast and like, you know, invokes Hitler. Anytime somebody says Hitler, man, it should make everybody uncomfortable. You know, and then here's the thing. If you are a pacifist, like this is what I'm saying about proving a point. Like when you have a point, even if you have a good point on paper, even if you have the sentiment of what you're saying is beautiful and powerful and it's all love, right? That still can be said, and it can still be painful and hurtful depending on context. For him to say like the Jews should forgive Hitler, even if you believe that statement, that is contradictory to the long-lasting victims, the line of victims, that person affected so many people and so many lives. It's not up to him to ask a group of people to forgive anyone. Even if you're the Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa monk, I'll leave it to those people. But don't use the Bible talking about love when in the Bible it says, you know, an eye for an eye. The Bible, there's many instances of justice in the Bible. You want to talk about forgiveness? Isn't it in the Bible where God wiped out the whole planet and saved only a few people with some animals on a boat? Wasn't he like, yeah, y'all messing up, so no forgiveness here. We're going to wipe y'all all out, and we're just going to leave, and we'll start over. That's stories in this Bible he's talking about. So for him to bring that up, it's a lack of empathy. It's just a lack of understanding how words have power. And so that's what I'm saying is like, is he crazy? Or is he using that as still a way to jab at these people? I don't get it. I really feel for the guy because he's just tarnishing his own legacy of a great artist, right? Great music. And then all this that's happening right now is it's scary. You know, it's like the things he's saying, he's going on this. Clearly these people are like, you mean to tell me Kanye West doesn't know that those guys are a hate group? Or, you know, that they don't represent this love and, you know, inclusiveness, and he doesn't know that? Of course he knows. That's what I'm saying, where it's like, why is he doing this? I don't get why he's doing this. Why is he talking to people like that, saying this kind of stuff? Here's my point about it too. Like when people say like, well, he's making a point. Just like I say, just because you're making a point, just because you think you speak in truth, it don't excuse you from being an asshole. If your mother was murdered, okay? If your mother was murdered and the murderer is on trial or he's up for parole, okay? And you got to go to this parole hearing every year to make sure this motherfucker don't get onto the streets. You wouldn't want somebody there talking about, hey, forgiveness. You know, you should forgive this person murdering your mother. That might be all fine and good in your life, in your world. But you can't take away the pain that I'm feeling and the justice that I think needs to be served on this person. But you might be a person that's like, oh, I totally understand the pacifist, love thy neighbor feeling. But there is such a thing as justice and honor. And like I said, sympathy and empathy. And he's showing a lack of that. And I think that it is dangerous. And I think that he really needs to look within himself and be like, why am I doing this? Why you got kids, you know? And then it's like, he's always talking out the side of his mouth. In 1 second, he's being like, oh, anybody that likes a half-naked woman on the internet is a bad person. But then he's on an article he's on that thing talking about Kim like, oh, I still see I still want it, girl. You know? It's like, what? I just don't know, man. I just don't know. And I hope that he finds himself again. I mean, I do think that there's a part of him that, you know, as you saw that one documentary of his, which is a great documentary, but you can kind of see like how he's just changed. Like, you know, he's like an artist in the true sense of the word. But it doesn't mean that the things he's doing is right or noble or just. I think he's hurting people in the disguise of trying to make a point. In the same way, and in fairness, I will say, in the same way that people attack comedians who say like, oh, you're saying something messed up, you know, but I just think that it's about intention. Okay. And I can't tell his intention. I don't know if his intention truly is just to be, you know, a malcontent, just to like stir the pot, or if his intention truly is to be this hateful and angry towards Jewish people, which I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. But it needs to stop. You know what I mean? It needs to stop. And when you see comments from people who are like, "Oh, Kanye's got a point," like you know, you dissect his sentences and you go, "Well, this part right here, well, he has a point." You know, everybody deserves forgiveness, but it's like, yeah, but not that guy, Hitler, really. And then you're going to put a swastika and the Jewish star together. It's like, man, that brings up such pain and anguish for people that their families suffered so much. And he's really showing a lack of empathy. And I don't know if he's doing it on purpose because, you know, or if this motherfucker need medication, you know, because he's going to end up doing some real damage because, you know, he is an influential person. Just if you look on his Instagram and just look at some of the comments, man, you ever like scroll through the comments and you'll be like, "Ooh, man, there's people that really, they're really digging this dude." Like they, you know, well, he's got a point. You know, it's like you got people out on the 405 freeway holding signs. Kanye was right about the Jews. I don't know if he like, does he feel that way? Is that what he wanted? Like, what is he trying to do? So all my Jewish brothers and sisters out there, I'm with you. Any marginalized group, I'm with you. You know, you will get talked about at my comedy show though, but it's no hate. You know what I mean? Like we at the same, as I say this, at the same time I say, look, that's how you treat everybody the same by, you know, it's just treating everybody equally when it comes to comedy. But this don't seem equal with what he's doing, and I can't decipher his intentions. You know, I can't decipher his intentions. But anyways, all right. I see all your comments, and if you'd like to, you know, get into my comments, you know, right now in the chat, in the live chat right now is on fire. I see y'all. So if you have a comment about this, you know, let's be respectful, and I don't mind it. I'll engage, you know what I mean? But like, you know, make your point, you know, it's like, but act like you in person with me. You know what I mean? I think there's a lack of social, you know, just social etiquette right now because of this like distance on the internet. But, you know, approach me like you would approach me in real life, you know, just talk. Hey man, can I have, you know, I disagree or I agree, or, hey, this is my thoughts. You know what I mean? Let's keep it cordial and above board on the comments, but, you know, let's get into it. I love it. So that's the poll right now. 68% of you say he lost it, and like 38% of you think that he 67 to 32% think that he knows exactly what he's doing. I don't know which one is worse, you know, which one's worse. You know what I mean? All right, y'all. DoorDash. This episode is brought to you by DoorDash. Be the best giver you can be in this holiday season with a DoorDash pass. A Dash Pass. That's actually a great gift, y'all. A Dash Pass is the membership that keeps on giving even after the holidays are over. Unlock savings on their favorite items from thousands of local restaurants and stores near and dear to them for less. DoorDash, and it's not just food, man. You could get you go to this, let's say you went to the market, you bought some stuff, but you forgot a few items. DoorDash will go there. Maybe you need something from Kinko's, or not Kinko's, but with those type of stores where maybe you need some paper or some printer ink or that kind of stuff. DoorDash has it. Look, if you're struggling to pick the perfect gift for friends and family, let them choose instead with a Dash Pass. Hit that Dash Pass, y'all. For a limited time, our listeners can also enjoy a gift for themselves with 50% off up to $20 value and zero delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app and enter code Riffin, R-I-F-F-I-N, Riffin. That's 50% up to $20 value and zero delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app in any app store and enter code Riffin. Don't forget, that's code Riffin for 50% off, up to $20 value, and zero delivery fees with DoorDash. Subject to change. Terms apply. Okay, guys. There's that. So let's get to some other crazy stuff that went on. Man. So, what's Taylor Swift, y'all? Taylor Swift. I like this little picture of her, so that's why I put it up with the fire from her website, TaylorSwift.com, y'all. So Taylor Swift is obviously one of the biggest artists in the entire world. You know what I mean? And she is coming out with a concert. Ticketmaster, this monopoly conglomerate ticket people have decided, they put it on sale. The whole thing went bananas. People couldn't get their tickets. The prices were outrageous. And now people are suing, and I don't know what's going on. So the thing I wanted to, what happened and who's to blame? A lot of websites about this right now. And it sparked, it says here in this thing, it sparked some outrage from the Democrats and Republicans with question whether Ticketmaster handled the Swift rollout appropriately. So apparently, Ticketmaster, so they have the ticket price. So there's a set ticket price. There isn't a set ticket price. So apparently Ticketmaster is doing some kind of system where it's like Uber surge pricing, which I find ridiculous. So it's there's a high demand for Taylor Swift tickets. Well, let's raise the price. I mean, how much is she involved in that, or any artist that deals with Ticketmaster? I remember back in the day, Pearl Jam. Do you guys remember Pearl Jam? Jeremy Spoken. I remember Pearl Jam. They were trying to have a concert and not use Ticketmaster or whatever. I think it was Ticketmaster, right? Let me look it up. And then, so then they had I don't know how they did it, but it just didn't work out. So I think they even boycotted the Grammys. Pearl Jam Ticketmaster. I remember. Oh yes, no, they don't. Yeah, I don't think the story's so old. The Taylor's so old that story's so old that I don't even know if I can find. But I just remember. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, see, people are really anti-Ticketmaster now. See, Pearl Jam's. It was in 1994. They had a fight with the Ticketmaster giant. See, I remember that because Ticketmaster has a monopoly on the tickets. So there's a question of I know it's a capitalistic system, right? But how much money should Ticketmaster make? What service are they actually providing? So they're organizing all the tickets and make sure people get their tickets on their website. So they should make some money off that. So, but how much? Should that be a 5% cost on the tickets? 10%? Should they be making 30%? I feel like if that money's not going to Taylor Swift, then what the hell are we doing? It reminds me of when we used to buy albums. You used to buy an album, you buy you used to have to go to the record store and you buy like a $17 album, right? And then come to find out later, you find out that the artist is getting 10 cents of that $17. As a consumer and somebody that supports that particular artist, I don't like that. That always bugged me. To me, it's, I'd rather go direct to consumer, and that's what the internet has provided now. So, like, if they were only getting 10 cents out of the $17, where's that money going? And what are they actually providing? I remember when they started allowing you to burn CDs, and you saw man, I can get 100 CDs for $10. Then what are they charging for? Are they charging for the music? And then if they're charging for the music, you go, well, then why isn't the artist getting the music? Then you find out about these terrible deals, and it's just the music. It just reminds me of that. Ticketmaster reminds me of that. So, how much does the artist have say in this? Can't Taylor Swift come out and be like, hey, in the stadium, I want these tickets to be this price, these tickets to be this price, and that's it. And so Ticketmaster charges the tax and surcharge. That surcharge goes to them, and that's the money that they make. Because if they're surge pricing the money and the money's not going to Taylor Swift, I got a problem with that. But I also have a problem if they tell the artist, hey, we're going to do it like Uber, and we're going to surge price, and you'll get 80% and we get 20%. Because then I got a problem with that too. Because then it's just like, yo, is it just about money? Is it just about money? Is there a part of you that's like, hey, I'm doing this for my fans? I remember Prince had some concerts at the Forum, and I believe he made sure the tickets were at a certain price because he was on the fight on the front lines with the music business a long time ago. I remember Prince was he changed his name, right? To the symbol, and everybody was clowning him. It was a whole thing. But I saw him on an old show it was when BET had a news program. So he was on BET News, and he was talking I had to get out of this contract. They were telling me I couldn't make music, and I wanted to make music and get it to the people. But the music business is they had these expectations. So he gave this example, and I bought this album. It was called the Crystal Ball album. It was a double CD, and it was $50. But it had so much music on it, but it was $50, right? And Prince was like, so I sold the Crystal Ball album for $50. And he goes, I sold 100,000 copies. And he said, is that a failure? Because by music industry standards, 100,000 copies of an album, you'd be like, damn, that's all you sold? But if you sold 100,000 copies at $50 and you're keeping all the money or a majority of it, that's $5 million that goes just to you as an artist. Is that a failure? And that's what the internet has provided, direct to consumer. If you think about it, that's basically even what podcasting is. When you think about some of the huge podcasts like Bad Friends and Tiger Belly and Joe Rogan and Your Mom's House and Tim Dillon. Look at Tim Dillon, for instance. Tim Dillon's a great example of this. So Tim Dillon has his fan base. He is direct to consumer. His fan base, however many people that is on Patreon, where he's making something like $300,000 a month for his fans, from his fans directly. There's no Ticketmaster. The only Ticketmaster is Patreon. So they take their percentage and they go, here, we'll facilitate you getting your fan support right to you. I mean, and you don't need, Tim Dillon doesn't need, say, like a television show that would need 9 million views to be considered a hit and stay on the air and keep doing seasons. Nah, man. He just needs however many he has. Even less than that. You know, if you have like, look at some of the subscribers of some, net of your big podcasters, they got like 300, 400,000 subscribers. That's not a lot of people in terms of the grand scheme of the United States. 400,000 people. There's more people in like counties in Los Angeles, in the California area, Los Angeles area, than fans of certain podcasts. But they're intact. They're right with those 400,000, 300,000 fans. And then they can make millions of dollars because it's a relationship with them and their fan base. So cut to what I'm saying about someone who has huge mass appeal like Taylor Swift. You're going to sell out concerts everywhere. You have adoring fans. It's like they want to come see you. Like, isn't that the point? Like, how much money needs to be made? I mean, is there such a thing as like, keep it simple? You have this queue. So many people are going to try to get it. It's going to sell out. So what? You have it at a certain price. People are going to come. That money should go. Like, what I'm saying is, why is there a Ticketmaster? She already has to rent a venue or, whatever the concert promotion team is. They're going to they had their cut, so it's like, it seems like, man, the big artists like that need to find a way to be big, but in a small fashion, the way we're doing it in the other way. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's just a way. It made me think about that, So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but, get in these comments, because I'm not trying to take money out of Taylor Swift's pocket, but I just want to make sure the money is being allocated to the people that should get it. Like, to me, she should be getting the lion's share of whatever money is coming because they're coming to see her. But I understand you're a concert venue. All right. So you have, you know what I mean? She should get the door, and then they're selling parking. There's food at the venue, merch. So they're like, all right, well, we get 10% of your merch, 10%, who's getting the lion's share of the money? How is this business being run? And it seems to me that Ticketmaster, they're taking advantage in this situation, and it needs to be streamlined. I ain't trying to take money out of nobody's pocket, but we want to make sure the right people are getting the money and they're not taking advantage of the fan base. So anyways, who knows? She might not even care about her fans like that. It could just be all about the money. Could be all about the money. All about the money. All right. So, all right, guys. That was my Taylor Swift rant. Yeah, it just made me think about that. So I wanted to talk about it. All right. Before we, oh man, I'm running out of time. Oh, it's okay. Let's talk about this, man. So they got, I saw this new car company. It's like this solar car company, man. And they're making solar cars, right? So Lightyear, zero charge anywhere and takes you everywhere, regardless of the electrical infrastructure. Our cars are built for grid independence, charging from the sun. So my first question was, like, how long does it take? Oh, wow, look at that. Great website. My first thought was like, how long does it take to charge this car? Like, they don't really say, Lightyear zero, I don't want to sign up for that. It's built with no other electric car charging on the go and gaining up to 70 kilometers of range per day from the sun. Okay. So how many miles is well, whatever. We'll just stick with the metric system. So 70 kilometers a day from the sun. So you got to have it outside and it's charging. So that means I wonder how long if it's fully charged, how far will it go? I mean, that don't seem like viable. That's great. I mean, as that technology gets better, right? It's going to be like, well, we don't even need electricity. Like this, it feels to me like that technology needs to be on every building. Like, I feel like remember the original electric car? There was a whole documentary like what happened to the electric car. And obviously the oil companies and gas, they put the kibosh on that. They were like, you ain't coming out with no electric car. And then cut to the Al Gore era where he just he put green in our consciousness, and then it was already there, and then it just tipped over the edge, and it was like Prius and Tesla and all these things are out, hybrids, and now we're getting to the point where it's going to be all electric, right? But now we're starting to see that, well, maybe it should be all solar. Maybe it should be all solar. Now, is the electric companies putting the kibosh on the solar technology? Because to me, I don't understand why, especially when you go to, when I go to Phoenix, when I'm in Phoenix and it's 115 degrees, that place is ridiculous in the same way Alaska is ridiculous when it comes to cold. 115 degrees. It's 100 degrees at midnight in Phoenix at a certain time of year. Get out of here. I don't understand why there isn't solar panels on everything. Why isn't, that should be the thing. I don't know where the solar technology, what the level is. And I don't know if we're putting enough resources into solar technology because there's so much money in gas and electric now. What's going on? Because this company is outside the box, yo, we're making but the car's $300,000. What's going on? So I was looking at this website and it had the history of the solar car. Now here's my problem when I was bringing up the old electric cars, the original electric cars. That shit looks dumb. Who in the hell want to drive that? That looks stupid. And that's what was wrong with the first electric cars. They look dumb as hell. So, where is, I have the, where is it? I had a thing up with all the electric car, the history of electric cars. I had it up someplace. What happened to it? Oh man. Oh, I lost it. But anyways, what I'm saying is the first electric cars look stupid. And then you were like, well, nobody want to buy that because that looks dumb. Now you could get any good looking car and it's you don't matter what's under the hood or how it runs. It's because it's about, I'm saying why it runs. If it's electric and it looks dope, you're going to be like, oh, I like that car. But who the hell want to buy that? Why would you want to drive around with that nonsense? That looks ridiculous. It's what are we talking about? So I feel like that's happening again. I feel like maybe the solar, I'm just putting that question out there. Are any scientists out there? Anybody that knows about this kind of stuff? I know that solar technology isn't where it could be because if it takes a full day of charging just to get 70 kilometers, that means it's not really a viable thing yet in terms of you can't just have that car. You have to have a second car, and that's just your fun solar car that you're showing off with because you spent $300,000. You know what I mean? All right, here we go. I could have sworn the history of, I had a site open called the history of electric. Oh, here we go. The brief history of electric cars. Here it is right here. So it's 1830 to the present. Apparently, these are the early electric vehicles. I mean, imagine you have an electric, that looks crazy. Look how far we've come, man. Look at that. Look at that ridiculousness. Talk about no safety. It's just looks like a missile it looks like a big, red wagon. A missile on top of a wagon, guys, for the guys that are listening. If you're listening to the podcast right now, I'm just looking at all these crazy original electric cars. They tried so hard to make this happen. Look how dumb that is. The designs of these electric cars are so stupid in the beginning. And you just make them look like a real car, somebody's look at that. What? Who would have want that? Some of these cars look stupid. And then in 2011, the Roadster 2.5 came out. And then they came out with these little smart cars. Remember the original smart cars? But they didn't look safe. And then it started to get good. Nissan came out with the Leaf, which still looks stupid. But at least it looked like a car that you would be like, okay, I'm starting to see a modern car, And then it just cut to, 2012, the Tesla S. And then that's it. Now it's just, we are just in an era where Mercedes, BMW, Jaguar, all the, GMC, Ford. Look, they got the Rivian now. They got what is this one? The Lucid, you know what I mean? And they got, now they're going into race cars. They're going into you know what I mean? It's like, damn, the history of electric cars is crazy. So now, is the next going to be solar? Because if the solar technology is to the point where you'll be able to have a car charged, real fast with solar, well, then that solar technology should be everywhere, right? And I think that's why I believe this, my conspiracy theory is that they're holding that back, because then, why would our electric bills be high? Why would our heating be high? Our gas would be high. Why would we, it would be like we wouldn't have to ravage the earth for resources, because we got this huge resource in the sky burning power, 10 hours a day. But that would mean, I guess, we would have to have a lot of batteries. Like Tesla sells that house battery. So we'd probably still have to have generators with some, I mean, who knows, man? Who knows where the technology is going? But I feel like the solar technology should be moving along faster than it is. That's my theory. Right? What do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comments. All right. And last but not least, this was a crazy story that I saw. This guy, man, was on a Carnival cruise ship and he fell overboard, dude. This guy right here, he fell overboard, a Carnival cruise ship, and he was in the water for 15 hours. What? And then they found him. I mean, imagine they had to come back, imagine. Yeah, imagine you on a ship. You with your girl. You know what I mean? You with your girl, you with your guy, whatever you with. You know what I'm saying? And then you can't find him. I mean, I would be so scared. If Rachel and I were on a cruise and I couldn't find her, what's going on through your head? Is she cheating on me and she found some steward and she's off someplace in the kitchen or underneath the boat with the dancers? That's best case scenario, right? You just can't find her. But at what point you can't find your girl and you on a cruise ship and you haven't found her in 4 or 5 hours and you oh, this bitch fell over. She fell over. She in the water. What do? You know what I mean? Because it's not like the ship could be okay, we going to do a Papa Yui and we going to turn around and go get him. I mean, that's scary. It's scary to think that, the thought that your loved one is gone in the water. All right, now, imagine you just chilling on the boat. Maybe you had a couple of drinks. You leaning over the side and you looking out at the water and you're like, oh, man. You trying to do the Titanic. You in the front of the boat doing the Titanic. I'm king of the world. Ah! And your ass fall in the water. You fall in the water. And you in the water. And the boat, the boat just gone. You know what I mean? And you in the water. The ocean. What's your first thought? You gonna get eaten by a shark. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I would die from the anxiety of thinking I'm about to get eaten by a shark. I'm in this water. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tread water and a big ass shark is going to come and be like, oh, look at this plump. This the other white meat right here. Or I'm butterscotch dark meat and just pow. So every hour that goes by, you thinking to yourself, I'm just cooking in this salt water is seasoning me up for a big ass shark to come eat me. That's just the thought that goes in my head. When I saw this, that's all I can think about, and this guy was he all talking about, every time people get saved, they always talk about how brave they were. I was thinking I had to get away and, but this motherfucker was in the water for 15 hours. treading water, you know? And it's like, and then you know what you're supposed to do? I remember when you learn how to swim, you know how to like, you float, you know what I mean? You have to like lay on your back and just tread water, just barely move, and you can float up top. You have to keep air in you. It's like a balloon, so you like float. I mean, but then the water is moving, and any noise you hear, you're going to be like, and what if the ship come back and run you over? And the big ass propeller, that is so frightening. I think that's like one of the worst ways. That would be like one of the worst ways to die. For me, my biggest fear is just being buried alive. I don't know what would be worse. Would you rather? How it's like, would you rather be buried alive or be out at sea until you can't swim anymore and drown? Like, oh my God, that is terrible. You guys think about that. You guys think about that and let me know what you think in the comments, because that is just, I don't know what's worse. You know what I mean? I don't know what's worse. But anyways, y'all, I think that's it for the day, dude. I think that's it for Riffin with Griffin. And make sure, like I say, I want to thank you for being here with Riffin with Griffin. Make sure you subscribe. You know what I mean? Subscribe. I'm on Twitch. I'm going to be on Twitch a little later, probably after this. And if you want to support, I promise you we're going to start doing a weekly Patreon, 15 to 30 minute episode for the extra Patreon content, so we can just really delve into it. Real world advice from a grown ass man and all that stuff, And if you want to send me beats for the rap recap, make sure you do that. Because I get beats from my man Fishy. Fishy beats, y'all. Here's another Fishy beat for the rap recap. Ooh. Riffin with Griffin. Always singing with them woo-woos. Sometimes you got the blue blues. Kanye West lost his mind. He be on that grind. He's out of his mind. On time. Electric car. While I'm doing these bars. Look up at the stars. It's from Mars. Riffin with Griffin. With the rap recap. Tay Tay. Trying to get tickets, Nay Nay. I was like, hey, who making the most money? Wait. On Riffin with Griffin. Woo! Always sniffing. Cause I got a big nose. This is how I close the show. Erik Griffin the best. What you mean? Say it with your chest. All the rest, I gotta go. Ooh, Riffin with Griffin. All right, y'all. That's the show. Shout out to Fishy for that fresh new beat. If you want to send a beat, you can send it to me at eric@ericgriffin.com. Thanks again for watching the show, and I will see you next week.